There is
And
Melissa.
I just want to remind everybody that, you know, they rejected this this attempt by the delegates to stand by Julian Assange and free Assange. It's not very popular, actually, if you're a progressive in California
because they're so
to
fake.
talk about free Julian Assange, to talk about imperialism. It really isn't. And there is a small sector of like these people that actually do talk about it. But it is a vast majority of them, like, you know, they bring up this bullshit. And this is exactly what it's going to lead into the next section. This next part of this Assange section is that there are these same idiots that, you know, that just completely believe these smears by Julian Assange, who has been freed of all those charges of rape that were used, right, that were used to detain him and get him to say, oh, he was avoiding bail and he was doing this and he was that. And we're also used in the whole situation to politicize his ideology, to try to frame him as some sort of, you know, Trump-supporting libertarian that helped Trump defeat Hillary Clinton. It's completely, even if all of that were true, the fact is he is being prosecuted for the wrong thing. Journalism is not a crime, right? War crimes are. The wrong person is in jail. Misty constantly puts out these tweets about how all these warmongers are receiving, you know, they're free, but they're also receiving all of these awards.
Yeah.
And then you have a journalist in jail for exposing them. It just kind of shows you the state of the world that we live in. And we say it all the time, but I don't think it sticks in people's heads. Like, we have a literal journalist in jail, and we have warmongers winning awards, getting rich, because that is what the system values. That is what the system upholds. And it's disgusting.
And the fact that people get mad about the whole Julian Assange situation, they say, well, he helped Trump win by exposing the Democratic Party lies and what they were doing. Rather than people getting really mad and walking away from the Democratic Party for what they did for Bernie Sanders being a cuck, not walking away himself, that's what really just infuriates me. If the truth blows it up, then so be it. We have the right to know the truth. So the fact that people were upset that he didn't hold back the truth because it supposedly helped Donald Trump, and that's why they're mad at him, that's a demented kind of fucking thinking you got up there, and you really need to steer it on straight.
Well, because they go by ideology first, right?
Team sports, right?
So if they pick their team, then that means everything the other side says is bad. They think in binaries. They do not understand nuance. They don't understand that the world does not reflect, like, they think that the rest of the world, right, in the global south, all is, and even in Europe, is left, right, Nazi, anti-Nazi. Like, it does not fit like that. I'm so sorry. Grow the fuck up. Really.
Wow.
Put on your big boy pants and grow the fuck up. And one of the people that needs to grow the fuck up, and we literally don't talk about this person ever because I don't consider this person relevant in terms of actual news. It's Hasan Piker. And Jonny was like, no, we gotta cover this one. So I want to hear what Jonny has to say. But he literally is, you know, one of these people that makes money off of, like Steve said it, of 16-year-olds who tip him with their parents' money. Because that's what the Twitch audience is majorly. It's a lot of really young people that, you know, are easily being influenced by people who who call themselves socialists, but are really some of the most capitalist CIA bots. I mean, you can look at Vaush, and again, another one we don't really talk about, and how they push this, you know, woke imperialism is what I want to call it. Like this sort of thing that's just like, it's not based on reality. It is just complete taking some sort of supposed Marxist theory and making it into this social, quasi-socialist, liberal bullshit that it isn't rooted in anything that is people working class based, right?
Yeah.
And Jonny has up this tweet right here. All the people who did not support Julian Assange or spread misinformation about him. It's all the names that you see, right?
AOC, Chen Kuger, Emma, Anna, Sam, Vaush, Namiki, Hasan, Benjamin,
and all these
David
people
Dole
focus so much on fucking Jimmy Dore or on calling everybody anti-vaxxers. And it's just so stupid, and we don't want to waste our time. But the reason we're bringing up Hasan Piker is because this whole thing is being used against all of us now. The painting, the smearing of people who are covering the mandates, who are covering COVID, who are covering imperialism as it is, and who are actually doing the work are being smeared as fascists, as Nazis, as white supremacists, as red, brown, as you name it, right? It's the same fucking rhetoric.
Hasan would kind of mention me in a way, unless there was somebody else that I didn't catch, about, there were anti-vaxxers who wanted to speak at the Medicare for All March.
Oh, yeah, they're talking about me, too.
You know,
somehow, no, and they lie, and they say that I was speaking about anti-vax stuff at the Medicare for All march. I
We
never
have names,
mentioned
Hasan.
anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mentioned? I mentioned Julian Assange, and apparently that pissed people off that I mentioned Julian Assange at a progressive march for Medicare for All. If you don't understand that every fucking issue that we want is tied to us having the ability to speak out and have dissent, you are a fucking moron. Because you should be proud that people
Or they're
are
getting
speaking
paid
about
to have that rhetoric, fam. We don't know if they're a moron or if they're getting paid a certain
Well,
way. Everybody has a
yeah.
price, fam, and these people got a lot of money all of a sudden out of the blue. And it's
Yeah.
not where they got the money from sometimes, it's who's paying them that we should be paying attention to as well. A la his uncle, where they got their cash from two different bad sources.
Right, and then you know, Amazon and like all these people. I mean, it's just really sad. I mean, the guy buys. They talk about Jimmy Dore having a $1 million house, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Dore is supported by people who are like working class. A lot of people who like donate his money. The Sam Cedars of the world, the MSNBC folks, the TYT folks are not supported by that money. They're supported by fucking like investors and like fucking pure Midyar, like, and all of these people who literally like just have big money and basically tell them the angle that they need to cover something, which is why you see a bunch of Trump videos still on TYT.
Yeah.
Trump hasn't been in office. Like, shut the fuck up about Trump. So let's just hear.
But we also know too, as well, what Addie said. They make it almost impossible to exist outside that realm over there, right? Outside the mainstream. Unless you're getting a check from them, they're going to make it very, very hard. You saw what Addie's going through. We talk about what we're going through. So you can see how they can kind of funnel it down to the people they want to speak their language. So here's the video.
Bro, why are you not mentioning hero Julian Assange being extradited? What the fuck is wrong with you? Assange stands on the internet are some of the most psychotic weirdos that it's just like, just stop, okay? Just be normal. Just stop. Do your fucking weird thing at the Jimmy Dore stream, okay? This is not the Jimmy Dore stream. We do a bunch of different content here. Go hang out with like weirdo fucking fascists, okay? Bro, why are you not mentioning hero Julian Assange being extradited? What the fuck is wrong with you? Assange stands on the internet are some of the most psychotic weirdos that it's just like, just stop, okay? Just be normal. Just stop. Do your fucking weird thing at the Jimmy Dore stream, okay? This is not the Jimmy Dore stream. We do a bunch of different content here. Go hang out with like weirdo fucking fascists, okay?
Who's a weirdo fascist?
That's the thing.
Who's a weirdo fascist?
So you see the downward. This is what they do. They literally accuse and smear people just blatantly because they know that it's so hard to like say, oh hey, I'm being smeared. Like, so now the Assange activist, any Assange supporter, is a weirdo fascist. They're weirdos. They're
Be
like
normal, fam.
They're not normal. But there's no evidence, there's no like data provided like, oh, they did this and this and that. It's just like, oh, it's now cool to hate on Assange if you're on the left because, you know, I saw somebody say, I don't care about Assange because people of color are behind bars and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just like that whole like virtue signaling, like, oh, I'm like, you know, this person and I only care about this. No, like we said already, like he represents imperialism. Imperialism is a racist thing, but fine. Like, but there's no like, oh, this is why Assange activists are this way. There's nothing, there hasn't been anything, by the way, from this guy in support of Assange. In like, besides when he got called out, right? Like there hasn't been an attempt to really talk about the importance. Because if I were if I wanted to be a journalist, if I wanted to be a commentator, if I wanted to be taken seriously as one, like he has his little platform, I would be like, you know what? I don't have to agree with the politics, even if you say that, right? I don't necessarily have to. It's not about Assange the person. It's about what he represents as being a journalist that is being jailed, and this is imperative for our freedom. I would even accept that. But like, there's been none of that. It's been like the whole smearing that TYT did, the whole, bullshit, Russia, tying him to Russia and Putin and all that bullshit. There's never been some sort of apology on that. No form of actual retraction. They just kind of pretend it didn't happen. And so it's just like when you smear people who support free speech, who support truth, who are truth tellers as fascists, just because you don't like Jimmy Dore. Like, Jimmy Dore is like one person talking about Assange. There are so many people that have been talking about Assange, so many activists that have been talking
I think he knows who he's talking about.
Assange.
I think he knows who he's talking about, fam.
He's talking about Action for Assange.
Assange,
He's talking
he's
about
like-
Misty. He's talking about all
Jackson,
these people.
and he's talking about all of our crew, and we know. Who
But
he's
like
talking
how? But what? The ability of the boutique left, the pseudo left, the emotional left, as Johnny calls them, to just call anybody they disagree with a fascist is a problem, because now you have idiots calling people like Niko and myself a Nazi for sharing one fucking video from a right-wing party in Germany, where the people are to the left of the vast majority of the politicians you have here in America. But you don't, and they don't hear the message. They just, oh, that's vicious. And they don't think. There's no reasoning. There's no logic. There's just brain melting in front of you and a temper tantrum happening before you. There's nothing. You can't reason with these people.
Let's talk about this next one. I had enough talking about this jerk off, because that's all he is a little jerk off. I swear to God.
And I just exposing these, these fake socialists. I just wanted to remind people who the CPUSA is, because when I saw them, and when they say they didn't endorse Biden, but they were advocating for people to vote for him against Trump. They didn't advocate for a third party. They've been going after Caleb Mop and calling him a Trump supporter. This is what they do. This is, again, the same shit these people do. I said, reminder to all that CPUSA claims they didn't endorse Biden, but they encourage people to vote for him against Trump instead of a third party. They also gloated when he won and pushed vapid identity politics about Kamala, the cop Harris. And I said, they're not communists. This is what irritates me. These people push people to the right. These people push people away from any sort of anti-imperialism. Look, this is what they wrote back then, November 19th of 2020. I will always remember the spontaneous celebration of joy and relief in the streets across the country when it was announced that Biden reached 270. The dancing and tears came out of the passionate work going on for months against all odds in the middle of the pandemic, overcoming voter suppression and disinformation for Black, Latinx. We don't fucking use that word. Stop using that word. Native and Asian Pacific communities to speak with the people about the stakes for their lives and the need for their vote, helping with the absentee ballots, or rides to the polls. It reflected deep pride in electing the first Black and South Asian woman as vice president, Kamala Harris, daughter of immigrants. We did this, was the refrain. The vote was a collective expression of working class power and an important experience for bringing forward new working class leaders. This is a fucking psyop.
Yeah.
This is a fucking CIA cutout used to fucking get these young kids to think that they're being communist, but to actually play into the State Department talking points. This is dangerous because kids are like, oh wow, and then they think it's the same thing Vaush does, the same thing Hasan Piker does. They wrap their little imperialist State Department talking points in woke language that isn't really rooted in anti-imperialism. That is dangerous, because those are exactly the entities that are used to have this, well, you say cultural Marxism, I say just fucking pseudo bullshit.
Well, that's what they talked about. The cultural Marxism is something like a CIA plant that's used to divide people right now. Play the cultural wars, play the identity, split the people with inside, and that's what they're doing. Everything right, that sentence right over there. They're not real communists whatsoever. We can tell you, when you go down to the global south, when you talk to socialists or whatnot, they're not about all this little bourgeois bullshit over here. They're about economics.
How do they talk about Biden and the West and the Sandinistas? They don't fucking say Kamala Harris is the first. No, they're like, Yankee, afuera.
Get out of here.
Afuera. You don't have anything to say about our country.
But,
that's.
But we know at the border, though, that they were really happy that when, Obama gassed them versus Biden, Trump gassing them, they were being gassed by the lesser of two evils, fam. That is important over there, and I think that's what they say all the time.
And I just want to read, Johnny, the second part of my tweet. If you go to the LOL part, I said, this is what they posted. Let's ask ourselves, if it does come down to Biden versus Trump, who would be more likely to forget student debt, expand health care, protect immigrant families, and take actions to mitigate the climate crisis? Who are we more likely to convince to shift their decisions in more progressive direction? Who would our Cuban, Venezuelan, and Nicaraguan comrades prefer to see in the White House? Considering the U.S. imperialist blockade loosened up during the Obama administration, our short-term tactics and strategy are not limited to voting for the lesser of two evils, since at the end of the day we are building a mass movement for socialism, and that means we must continue to push for unity, organization, and radicalization around the issues and not around bourgeoisie politicians. The youth must play an essential role in the struggle so that the socialist movement will continue to live on. We will define the struggle and the socialist movement we shall overcome. I mean, this is fucking bullshit. Okay, student debt, Biden, nope, none of that. Expand healthcare, definitely no.
Nope.
Protect immigrant families,
Nope.
oh, influx facilities, that's
Yep.
a lot of protection. Climate crisis, I will not ban fracking. He's standing by his decision.
More drilling fucking permits on public lands than fucking Trump now.
Sanctioning Cuba, Venezuela, not recognizing
Nicaragua.
Do not speak for fucking Nicaraguans. Your bourgeois politics. Fucking Nicaragua. Are you kidding me? They're sanctioning Nicaragua right now. They won't even let the politicians come into this country.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that Biden is better? How the hell would you know? You fucking live in this Western society where you have no idea. And you're pushing this liberal bullshit as communism. Nothing makes me more angry than these fake ass leftists. You know why they're worse than the Republicans? Because they trick people. I know what a Republican stands for. I see them. They're honest about not wanting immigrants to come in. They're honest about where they stand on abortion. But you talk about these faux leftists, they are doing the CIA's work to stop any sort of revolution from happening. That is why I hate them more.
Yeah, this is not what this movement's supposed to be about. This movement's been co-opted from a long time ago. I mean, we weren't around by the time this movement was co-opted. People talk about the communists that were in this country for a long time. It was all a part of a labor movement. It was about labor. Now it's just bourgeois politics. As they're saying, don't buy into bourgeois politics. They are actually promoting bourgeois politics and bullshit.
Disgusting.
And all those lists of things that they talked about, they got nothing from Biden. In fact, the imperialism is kind of worse. We talked about the Ukraine situation today. I was amped up once Victoria Nuland and Blinken and all these people, Jake Sullivan, got back into office, whatnot, behind the Biden State Department. These are the same kind of people as before, and it's kind of worse because they act as if they're your friends, whatnot. That whole image that they painted, and yet they're the devil in disguise. You're inviting them into your house. And that's the sad thing about this whole situation.